Good afternoon, everyone. We will call this public safety meeting to order at 12:30. And we will start with our first presentation. Chief, it looks like that's you.
Thank you, Commissioner and committee members. Let's see here. Probably don't want to do that. All right. Here we go. All right, we're in business. Okay, and mostly good news today from the police department. Starting with auto thefts, as you can see, something we've talked about quite a bit, but the trend continues to go down to pre-pandemic levels, obviously predating the issue that we saw with Hyundais and Kias. So we're thankful, and lowest amounts of auto thefts in September. As you can see, the lowest amount of auto thefts year to date since pre-2021. So headed in the right direction, and I hope that trend continues. Robbery totals, you can see a little bump, not as high as we've seen in the past, and nothing, no trends or anything that we've seen statistically significant, which is the same story with aggravated assaults, about even, just slightly elevated from last year, down from the years before, but again, no trends that we're seeing or crime conditions that would be appropriate to address. Best news that we have is the drop that we've seen in both shootings and, of course, homicides, the lowest homicide total in for quite a while, 11 year to date, and of those 11, 6 have already been cleared by arrest. Detectives are working very hard on the other 5. So you can see a bump in 2023's clearance rate with a recent arrest in the, or charging, I should say, he was already in jail, of a double murder that occurred on November 6th down in Burton Heights neighborhood of last year, or the day that we had 3 individuals murdered. So that increased the murder clearance rate to 67%. And I think that was important. It was great to be able to reach out to the families and connect with them and let them know that, these cases, you can call them cold or whatever, but they're not cold to us. Our detectives, every year that's on here, and even more. Since I've been here, let's see, I'll just give one example. Last week, I spoke to the mother of a young man who was killed in 1999. And so to keep that connection with loved ones of victims and let them know that we care, so that when they see a case closed that happened almost a year ago, they know that we mean it when we say we're not going to forget, we're going to keep at it. We have great detectives. We're going to keep doing the work and bringing justice and hopefully closure for as many families as we can get. 27 recorded fatal overdoses. Some of those, that number likely to go higher as we hear back from medical examiners on some cases. So that's an issue that continues to plague the city. And then just highlighting the accident work mostly by our patrol officers who are averaging over 1 gun every single day that's illegally possessed, safely taken off the street. So it's 312 encounters with individuals who are illegally possessing a gun that we're able to safely remove that gun from the street without any serious uses of force or anything like that. So just a testament to the excellent professional work being done on the street. Speaking of statistics, as of today, 296 is the staffing number. Now that includes individuals which are in training. We've got some recruits on the street, and we've got some more ready to come out of the academy. And more importantly, we are doing interviews. I saw a couple squad cars downstairs in the parking garage when I came in. They're doing oral boards interviews today for the next Grand Rapids Community College class, which starts in 2 months. So we are still pushing forward with recruiting and looking forward to being at full staffing. And I think our crime numbers and response time and the feedback that I'm hearing, at least from the community, reflects that that's a great thing. So with that, I will ask anybody if I can answer any questions.
What is the number, the final number we're trying to get to, 300 and?
90, 390, 395. That was a joke, sorry. It's 304 was the last number that we spoke of, and so 297 is very close. Now, that doesn't contemplate attrition. I mean, 296. 297 was before Deputy Chief Rogers' retirement came into effect on October 4th. So contemplating the potential, a little bit of attrition, but we're outpacing attrition, and we'll be at that number, should be, by next summer, we should be at full staffing.
Nice. Anybody else?
Thank you, Chief, and for your work and all the department and the officers and being very diligent about staffing. I just wanted to revisit that number. I know 304 was the number when we had the grant with I think one of the local hospitals, but I think that grant expired, and so I thought those positions had rolled off. So you can do 2 less, but 10 over. If you.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So I've said the number 304 so many times I didn't want to. I felt uncomfortable saying that, but yes. So technically, as of today, it's actually 302.
302.
Because we counted the 2 grant positions were part of an agreement to staff 2 police officer positions at St. Mary's Hospital, which we never fulfilled because we never reached staffing numbers. So now that they're off, technically 302.
And you can hire 10 over if need be.
Yes, sir.
So we're looking forward to the days where we're consistently over 300, and that will be a good, healthy number for staffing. And I dare say there are probably very few mid-sized cities now with that kind of staffing effort.
We've certainly bounced back a lot faster than a lot of cities our size, and definitely cities larger than us.
Thank you for all of your creative ideas and the work that you've done with the different organizations and the colleges, and just thinking outside of the box and how we can do things differently. So it's truly appreciated. Anyone else?
Yeah, thanks, Madam Chair. Just a quick question on the fatal overdoses pieces. How does that compare to, per capita to other cities of our size?
I think it's very, well, I'd have to get you the numbers. There are cities which reflect no fentanyl problem at all, and there are cities which reflect, individuals. Some of our West Coast cities are just getting impacted in a way. They might have multiple deaths every day.
Okay.
In a city's not much bigger than us. So I think we're right in the middle.
Okay.
I'd have to do a little work on that, but it is enough that is very, very concerning for us.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? Colleagues? Okay, thank you very much, Chief. We appreciate it. Next up on our long list of agenda items, we have Mr. Hurt updating us on the wildlife management.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Oh dear. I'm sorry. It's me again. I'm here back to talk a little bit about wildlife in the city. I wanted to give you a briefing, just an update on where we're at since the last time I was here. We talked a little bit about the regional perspective, and I'll start there. The Grand Valley contract with the county is in place, and that field work is scheduled to begin the first part of November, maybe the middle of November. So we're going to start doing some population counts throughout the entire county. That'll give us some really good data. I think I shared with you before, we have looked at the UD10s, the car deer crash data, but we're also looking at where we're picking up carcasses, not only from the city of Grand Rapids perspective, but the whole county. And it's eye-opening. It really is. You can see where the corridors are, where it has the most activity. And it really coincides a lot with speeds. As you can imagine, you hit something that going 35 miles an hour versus 60, it's going to cause some damage to your car. So that's underway. In terms of the regional side, the county is also going to be putting out a community survey. I don't know the details exactly how it's going to roll out, but it looks like it's going to be in the next 2 to 3 weeks, trying to gather some feedback from our residents, pros and cons on the deer population that they have in the city, in their backyards and their neighborhoods. trying to get some feedback on that. And once we have some of that data, that'll be really good for us to evaluate. The last time I was here, we talked about a pilot. I will tell you that we've been spending some time looking through that, what that looks like. Commissioner Robbins, you brought that up, and that was concurrence by the board to at least consider it. We've done some legwork on that. We've looked at other communities, East Lansing, Meridian Township, Ann Arbor. I know Grand Haven had done something at one time in the past. And we actually ended up talking with Kent County Parks. They have 3 parks that they have allow hunting in, which I didn't know that. That was interesting to me. I did not know that. But what we did find was that the parks that they are allowing hunting in are predominantly a forested park, and several of them are next to a farm field. So they have agricultural within the park. It's not really an active park. It's not really advertised that way, but they've been doing it for a number of years, as well as Meridian Township. What we found, Meridian Township has been doing it for 24 years. And it's actually a public and private property arrangement that works out really well. Got a lot of details on that. So our plan right now, you have a memo in front of you, kind of a briefing on where we're at. We wanted to share that with you, to kind of give you just a high level. And the intention is to come back with a policy recommendation at the next meeting for you to consider, and the City Commission will bring that forward. I will say, since we've been having this conversation at the city, I'm fielding a lot of phone calls and emails. Commissioner Goy, thank you for yours. It's a real issue with some of our residents. And, the residents used to see 2 or 3 in their backyard at a time. Now they're seeing 6, 8, 9, 10. City manager, we had a woman who sent us a picture of 3 of them laying under her trampoline in her backyard. So there are areas that I think that where there are some things that we could be looking at in the future. So just wanted to give you a quick high-level overview. I'm happy to answer any questions. Mr. Manager, I don't know if you have anything to add.
Did you all talk about, I know we brought it up, we talked about the processing and being able to use some of the opportunity of maybe there being processes and using the meat.
Absolutely. Meridian Township has a whole process. They purchase coolers, and then they have an arrangement where that food is donated to the food kitchens. It's available, and they have a whole list of the churches that they're providing the food to. That would be something to consider, absolutely.
City manager, you have any?
Thank you, Mr. Hurt, for your work, your dear work on this. We dearly appreciate it. But a couple of things. I did hear reports of a viral disease that was affecting deer population. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure.
And how that affects our current deer population in King County?
Yes, it's actually called EHD. If you've been tracking with that in the news, they're seeing area concentrations in the southwest part of Michigan. And anecdotally, I've heard some reports that they've been finding it in Kent County. What happens is the deer, it's from like a midge, from a riverbed. It gets onto the deer, causes a really quick reaction to the deer, and what happens is they tend to develop a fever, and you'll find them trying to seek out water, and that's where they're finding the carcasses, or where they're finding the deer. It happens very quickly, from what I understand, within days, and they will end up dying next to a riverbed or a body of water. I don't have any numbers to share at this point, but I do know that when we talked with the county, they're sharing that. I know the state is tracking that. So if you find deer that are next to water, they want that to be reported to the state. But it is, I've not heard of anything in the city yet. I've not seen it or heard it, but it's entirely possible that it's happening. It's not transmitted from deer to deer, and it's not transmitted from deer to human, which is a good thing.
Then to comment on your benchmark in the county and how it's in forested areas and not urban areas. So I think one of the areas we were asked to look at was the nature center, at least on the city portion, city-owned portion of the property. And that may kind of fit that criteria, as well as some other parks that are more forested than in the middle of a neighborhood.
Yep, and we've begin conversations with Blandford Nature Center.
Just for clarity, that's bow hunting only, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Just to build on that, are you saying there might be opportunity for me to take care of the deer in my backyard with a bow?
Yes. Police chief and I have talked.
Yeah, but just for
There's
clarification.
certain requirements you have to follow, sir.
Right, but both city attorney and police chief are here, but if it's on his property now, you can legally
You can legally bow
use a
hunt.
bow right now on your own property. I want to make sure,
As long as you're following the DNR regulations, you have a license, you are ensuring that the projectile is not leaving your property, and the 450 feet from a structure. Well, I don't-
I do recall this conversation when Commissioner Moody was here and where he would leave the carcass, yes. Yeah.
You're welcome.
So if that were to happen, say on a property. Then they could, oh, are they loud? Okay. If that were to happen, who would they call then, or would they call someone to come and get it? Or no?
No,
If you're hunting, it would be your responsibility to take care of it.
So they can't donate it then?
It would be up to them.
Okay.
but they can't shoot it, put it on the street, say, city, come pick it up.
That's correct.
Right.
I wouldn't drag it. I don't know who else would. Commissioner Robbins?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Just wanted to say thanks. I know we've talked about this for quite a long time, and I know there's a regional approach that in the end will be more comprehensive, I think, at helping with this issue, but I really appreciate the city's willingness to be nimble and try and find options within our own purview, using these existing regulations to help, sooner than later. And I know we talk about an issue, sometimes we can joke about it, but really, I mean, some families live paycheck to paycheck, and one car crash with a deer is a financial burden that could really put them under. So I think there's certainly financial components as well as the safety pieces too that this is benefiting. So I'm excited about it. I hope other people are too. And then just a question on the community survey piece, is that something that could maybe be emailed out to us? Because I'm sure I have a lot of constituents who'd be
I've not
interested
seen
in
it yet.
sharing some feedback. So yeah, once that's received, I think
Absolutely.
I'd be happy to forward that around to a lot of people.
And the memo I put on in front of you talks about this extended archery season. Typically, they've been calling it the urban archery season, the extension through the entire month of January. So that would be an opportunity that we would have if we were electing to move forward with that.
Okay. Anything else, colleagues? All right, thank you, Mr. Hurt.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Much appreciated. All on our agenda for today, so we will conclude this meeting at 12:48.
Excuse me, one more item, and we'll have time to do this. There may be an opportunity for the November meeting to adjust it closer to the evening, and wanted to check before we adjourn if there's any pause in doing that, if we were to move it to 5:30 p.m., closer to the city commission meeting. Would that present any challenges for anyone?
Move public safety.
Move public safety. November 19th? Is that the right date, Asante?
November 19th, yes.
Yeah, November 19th. Okay, we'll follow up with more formal calendar checking, but I just wanted to raise that as a possibility.
Thank you. All right, we will adjourn this meeting now at 12:49.